Which are the threats a computer faces? Computer security threats are possible dangers that can possibly hamper the normal functioning of our computer. So normal functioning also sometimes will be hampered. In the present age, cyber threats are constantly increasing as the world is going digital. The most harmful types of computer securities are, let us discuss one by one. The first one we can say viruses. A computer virus is a malicious program which is loaded into the user's computer without user's knowledge. It replicates itself and infects the files and program on the user's PC. The ultimate goal of a virus is to ensure that the victim's computer will never be able to operate properly or even at all. Totally, the softwares or the data or every part of the computer will be maliciously affected by these viruses. Unknowingly, these are kept in our computer or loaded to the computers. So ultimate target is to collapse our system and the collapse our data. Second one is the computer worm. This computer worm is a software program that can copy itself from one computer to another without human interaction. The potential risk here is that it will use up your computer hard disk space because a worm can replicate in greater volume and with great speed. So, by introducing computer worm, it is a software program. It is a set of instruction to copy itself from one computer to another computer. Data will be copied automatically. There is no need of human interaction or no human action on this. Phishing. This is very common nowadays. Distinguishing as a trustworthy person or a business, phishers attempt to steal sensitive financial or personal information through fraudulent email or instant messages. Many of you might have received a message from SBI saying that your password has not been changed for last 1 month. So you have to change it immediately. Follow this link and put in the data or fill in all the information. If you click on that, it opens up and it asks your name, date of birth, your bank account number, branch, IFSC code, all other details, your debit card details, PIN or the CVV number, debit card, sorry, ATM PIN, like that. It asks to fill. What we do unknowingly, we will fill all our personal details and save it. Unfortunately, it is not from State Bank of India. It is from some other fraudsters. They what is their job is to steal this financial or personal information. What they do with this? They will access our bank account and they will transfer money to their account. So they ultimately where we land up losing money. Many such cases have happened because even educated people also falling into this trap and they are becoming the prey for this phishing. Another type of security threat is botnet. Botnet is a group of computers connected to the internet that have been compromised by a hacker using a computer virus. An individual computer is called a zombie computer. The result of the threat is the victim's computer, which is the bot which will be used for malicious activities and for larger scale attack like DDoS. Next one is the rootkit. A rootkit is a computer program designed to provide continued privileged access to a computer while actively hiding its presence. It is there in our computer, but we are not aware it is there, hiding its presence. Once a rootkit has been installed, the controller of the rootkit will be able to remotely execute the files and change system configuration on the host machine. Host machine is where this program is installed unknowingly. When it is in the cloud, he will take the a fraudster will take the control of our system and he will remotely controls our activities, and he will change the files or steals the files. Whatever he wants to do, he can do using rootkit. Next is keylogger, also known as keystroke logger. Keyloggers can track the real-time activity of a user on his computer. It keeps a record of all the keystrokes made by user keyboard. Keylogger is also a very powerful threat to steal people's login credentials such as username and password. Think that you are using a public computer in a internet cafe or a public internet center. You are using one of the computers. You are using your mail ID. So what you do, you are opening the search browser and you are logging in using your email ID, password, etc. When you are using the keyboards to feed your login ID and password, this keylogger, which is already fixed there, will store the data of your what you are feeding in. Then uh, keyloggers will use this data to use your personal data for unwanted things. Maybe a terrorist stolen your data and used it for some terrorist activities. Unfortunately, when police start tracing the person who sent this email, where from it is sent, then first who will be caught? The person whose login ID is used to send the email. So we will be trapped, right, using this keylogger or keystroke loggers. One best example what I saw is in petrol bunks. Usually we are using our credit card and debit cards. We give, after filling the petrol, we give our credit or debit card for swiping. These keyloggers, what they do, they have a machine called skimmers. They will, unknowing, without your notice, they will swipe your card on their on the swimmer. It is not swimmer, sorry, it is skimmers. So skimmers is a small around 6-inch long length and 2-inch breadth rectangular shaped instrument. If you swipe your card in that, your personal data which are stored in the magnetic strip will be transferred to there. Then these keyloggers will use the personal data and they will create one duplicate card. They will use that as their personal card, but bills will come to you. So we should be very careful from such fraudsters. These are perhaps the most common security threats that we will come across. Apart from this, other there are others like spywares, webits, scareware, blue snapping, and many more. Fortunately, there are ways to protect ourselves against these attacks. Compu- Next one is computer security practices. How we are able to prevent this kind of compute what we can call threat to the computer, how it can be prevented. Secure your computer physically by installing reliable, reputable security and antivirus softwares. Activating our firewall, which filters the uh, unwanted things, and because firewall acts as a security guard between the internet and our local area network. Stay up to date on the latest software and news surroundings your devices. Perform software updates as soon as they become available. Avoid clicking on email attachments unless it is solicited to you, or otherwise you don't know the source. Compu- Next one is computer security practices. How we are able to prevent this kind of compute what we can call threat to the computer, how it can be prevented. Secure your computer physically by installing reliable, reputable security and antivirus softwares. Activating our firewall, which filters the uh, unwanted things, and because firewall acts as a security guard between the internet and our local area network. Stay up to date on the latest software and news surroundings your devices. Perform software updates as soon as they become available. Avoid clicking on email attachments unless it is solicited to you, or otherwise you don't know the source. Ch- Change the passwords regularly using a unique combination of numbers, letters, and case types. Use the internet with caution and ignore pop-ups, drive-by downloads while surfing. When you're surfing, it may ask, or unknowingly there will be many downloads will happen. Taking the time to research the basic aspects of computer security and educate yourself on evolving cyber threats. So we should be aware of what type of threats are regularly happening. Perform daily full system scans and create a periodic system backup schedule to ensure our data is retrievable if something happens to our computer. Backup is the process of storing your data. So next is our discussion is computer data and information. Data can be defined as a representation of facts, concepts, instructions in a formalized manner, which should be suitable for communication, interpretation, or processing by a human or electronic machine. Data is raw in nature. Data is represented with the help of characters such as alphabets like A to Z, capital or small, digits like 0 to 9, or special characters like addition, subtraction, division, star, less than, greater than, equal to, etc. also will be used to represent the data. Then we are using the word information. What is it? Information is processed data which is an output of a computer system which is systematically arranged. There is a subtle difference between data and information. Let us look into them. Data are the facts or details from which information is derived. Since data is raw, information is systematically arranged data. Individual pieces of data are rarely useful alone. For data to become information, data needs to be put into context. Comparison chart. Data versus information comparison chart. Data information meaning data is raw, unorganized facts that need to be processed. Data can be something simple and seemingly random and useless until it is organized. When data is processed, organized, structured, or presented in a given context so as to make it useful, it is called information. So information is completely organized data, it is structured data, it is systematic in nature, and it is processed by the computer. Example, each student's test score is one piece of data. When computer gives different levels of scoring, then becomes information. So information is organized or classified data which has some meaningful values for the receiver. Information is understandable. Information is processed data on which decisions and actions also can be taken. If we are taken the scores of the students in the classroom, until it is organized subject wise, roll number wise, or it is not tabulated, it is just a number. When it is organized, that becomes information. Using this information, we can conclude that whether student has got or has secured good marks or the first class or the distinctions or above 90 rank, all can be judged, or we can come to a conclusion. So information helps us to understand the data properly. For the decision to be meaningful, the processed data must qualify for the following characteristics. First one is timely. Information should be available when required. A sales manager asks for the today's sales. By evening, sales executive should report back to the sales manager saying that these many sales happen. But if the report reaches him tomorrow evening, what is the use of that kind of information? So timeliness is very important. Accuracy in the information, that is very important. I need not tell why accuracy is important. If the sales manager asks for the report, sales executive gives back the report saying that 100 units have been sold today, but unfortunately he has manipulated, he means sales executive manipulated saying that 70 units have been sold, but he manipulated that information as 100. So here inaccuracy plays the vital role to take the decision. Completeness. Complete information should be provided whenever it is required. Half information is not useful and no one can use it for decision making. Being a management students, we should understand the importance of this information, because management requires all kinds of reports on time. It may be financial report, or it may be a production report, or it may be marketing report, or it may be what we can call a human resource report. Everything should be up to date. Up to date means today. So ERP system, enterprise resource planning system, helps to do this kind of report without with minimum error and accuracy, completeness, and on time. Next is data processing cycle. Data processing cycle is the restructuring or reordering of data by people or machine to increase their usefulness and add values for a particular purpose. Data processing consists of the following basic steps: input, processing, and output. These are the three steps constitute the data processing cycle. This we discussed in the beginning of this chapter. Right? Input, we are feeding in the data. Processing unit, that CPU, processes the data using machine languages. Then it gives the output. So I will skip these two slides. Data processing, input, processing, this is CPU, this is output. This is the flow chart of the data processing.